Hey guys, it's J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13.
And Willis.
Welcome to episode lucky number 13 of the Life is Feels podcast entitled
We're feeling 13, all right.
entitled Life is Strange 2 episode 1 review and episode that's a long ass title and episode 2 predictions. I'm probably gonna have to change that title because yeah, that's outlandish.
Train wreck
Oh
already.
man.
Yeah,
You know,
the problem is it's not Friday. No, Friday
it
the
wasn't
13th.
Friday when we did this either. It was, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
My name is Josh, so, I think we've, established that. Go back and
Yes,
listen to our Until Dawn.
he was a serial killer from Until Dawn. We found out it's J-Man.
Man, life is feels, man.
we'll let you take
Life,
that how you need to, there, sir.
uh, so, always the emotional scenes. I like to usually get them out of the way first.
Does that include being tongue-tied?
No, that's just me being dumb. Um, Emotional scenes. Ah, boy. We said last week that we weren't replacing, and I wasn't going to bring this up again because I didn't want to bring this up again. But people have Twitter DM'd me about it, and I have to clarify it again. And I feel like they're going to be mad every time we use their name. I'm not going to use their name. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Scoffy. I combined their name. No, but two people have asked me, and I told you guys this last week, and I don't think Willis even knows. Willis knows this too. I'll say it one more time this week, and this will probably be the last time I say it. Hopefully, Willis is not a replacement for Charlotte and Coffee. We've established that. I don't like people saying that he is. Uh, Honestly, I'm not in the mind of Charlotte and Coffee, so I don't know how this makes them feel. I don't know how they feel right now. A lot has happened. Um, I'm not going to bring this up every episode, but I just want to clarify it one last time that Willis is too crazy to be a replacement for Charlotte or Coffee. And we aren't trying to replace Charlotte or Coffee in any way. So let's drop that barrel. It's happened. It's over. And life is feels. Willis is like, why are we so emotional again, man?
Yeah, just you gotta wonder sometimes before you know.
The more
But
you
I
know.
will. The more you know, the better life
The more
is.
you feel, the more you feel, the more you know.
The more you feel, the more you life. Nope, that's not right.
Feels is life and life is feels.
That actually sounds like it twines together.
I know, right? I just thought of that.
Feels is life and life is feels. That's like a saying in a movie somewhere, isn't it? Not those exact words, but how they use
Stop talking.
the opposite ways that they mean the same thing.
Right?
Did anyone
Yeah.
stop talking? Hello?
Hello?
Did
Hello?
anyone stop talking? You guys kept it rolling?
Yes.
Alright, so I don't know what happened there. My
I just came up with
internet
I just came up with a really cool saying. Life is feels and feels is life.
And remember, folks, feels is life. No, that doesn't sound right.
No, I just thought it sounded like a cool slogan.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My internet was decided to randomly die at no random point, so that's nice.
Well, that
Uh,
was random.
yeah, right. So let's get into we have sort of a time limit. Shout out to Tony Bandana. We're gonna watch him later. Well, Willis is because it's only gonna be what 4 o'clock for you.
It's gonna be 5:30 when he goes on.
Yeah, it's 30, dude. Alright, so
Life is feels.
let's get to episode 1 of Life is Strange 2. Everyone dies. No, not yet.
Wow, way too early.
Life is death, man.
Well, you can't help his sense of humor because he's Josh.
I thought I was the serial killer.
Josh was the serial killer.
No, the other serial killer, the Mountain Dude.
No, he was never a killer. The other serial killer was the Wendigo.
I mean, he was technically a killer because he died, so he killed himself.
No, the
I've
Wendigo.
never. That's a strange way of putting it, though.
Okay, we've moved on from Until
I'll
Dawn.
applaud you. I'll applaud you the attempt. I'll give you that.
Okay, we're moving on from Dawn, so we're at Life is Strange 2 now.
All right, Steven, I don't know if we have a play-by-play.
We'll just kind of
play-by-play.
Yeah, we'll skim through this a little bit.
I sort of have a. You know what? I'm gonna take Steven's role today. I'm gonna do the play-by-play.
Okay, reference. Let's see if you know what the very first scene is.
The first scene is the dad dying. Oops. Spoiler.
No, that is scene 3.
I know what the first scene. I know what the first scene is.
Okay, then take us through the first scene.
My favorite. Jesus, bro, calm down. My favorite song is in the first scene. So Lila and Sean get off the bus, and So Sentimental hits. That's not the name of the song. Litzomania hits. Thoughts on Litzomania? What did you guys think about the way it was used here and the song in general?
I really wasn't focused too much on the song. I was more as to who is this new character, where is this going, and how is this going to play in later. I was waiting to see who our new protagonist and antagonist were.
That was actually my approach too. It's funny because I'm musical. I usually do focus on music, but because I was like, "Whoa, new people!" It took me by surprise too.
I will say, Litzomania is. I've said this before, recently. I've already liked Litzomania, but to me, Litzomania is, as of right now, depending on what else they use, I'd say my third favorite Life is Strange song. Obstacles is obviously up there. Obstacles, I would think, would be one. The other one is what's the name of the Chloe and Max song in the original Life is Strange?
It's called Mount. I think that one's called Mount Washington by the local natives.
Yeah, that's my second one,
that
and
one.
then this would be my third one.
Okay, what's the name? What was the name of the one in Before the Storm where she's after the club and she wakes up and it's singing while she's smoking in bed?
I don't know, dude. I'm doing the scenes from this game, not from that game.
Are you talking about Before the Storm or the first one?
The Before the Storm. It's right after she has the night with Rachel Amber and she wakes up in bed smoking either weed or a cigarette. I can't remember the name of that song. But J-Man mentioned...
I haven't played that Before the Storm in a little while, so I don't remember.
Okay. My top 4 were that one, Obstacles, American Girl, and...
American Girls is up there.
Right.
American Girls is probably 4.
In Black Flies by Simon and Garfunkel. My dad said he loved that song.
American Girls, I would say, would be 4. But if it was any other playlist for any other video game, American Girls would be number 1. Just
Wait, you just
because
said
of,
on your top list that would be 4?
yes, on my Life is Strange list. If it was in a different video game and these songs were not involved, it would be number 1. Just because of the way it's used and how well it fits that scene. Like, we'll get to that when we cover Life is Strange, but I love American Girls.
I just think it's weird that I just mentioned Before the Storm and you said that if you could, American Girl would be 4.
The fuck?
Okay, back to episode 1.
So, the second scene. I guess that counts as a whole scene, right?
No, thoughts on Lila?
Oh, fuck, yo. Get off my job, bro.
What, you're failing?
Thoughts on... Thoughts on Lila. I was gonna wait till after the conversation, and then I was gonna ask thoughts on Lila. Because at this point, you don't really know anything about Lila. All I've said is that Lila's gotten off the bus. We haven't talked about the conversation yet.
We didn't get to the conversation. You can still have thoughts about Sean and Lila separated.
Yeah, but you can't have any thoughts about Lila because at this point, all she says is "later, losers." Like, is that you're gonna
that
judge
right there?
someone off?
Yeah, that right there made me think. All right, she's some kind of either a preppy cheerleader, or she's one of these stuck-up people. Like she's better than everybody else. A bully.
She's an Emily.
Willis,
No,
what
I
was your
love Mia
first impression?
Are you talking about the lady friend at the beginning when they got off the bus?
Yeah, where she says "later, loser."
First impressions
You
of that
can't
girl.
really judge. Go ahead.
I guess what caught my attention is how close those two are, and how.
No, we're not to the relationship yet. Just the first reaction of what Lila said.
Oh, first impression. Okay. I actually saw her stuck up. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess this was that the whole first scene, or this still counts as the first scene is the porch. The first scene's the porch, right? So
yeah, the first official scene.
They walk to the porch, have this weird conversation about fuck, I can't do this job. Oh no, I remember.
Not so easy.
Yeah, shut up. Have this weird conversation about, hey, I made this podcast what it is. You need to chill. I brought this from the ground up. They have the conversation about how hopefully we're always going to be friends, and what if we go to different colleges, and then they talked about how they're wolves and they're together, and talk about the party. She writes stuff on his hand, which I want to get to, but before we get to what she writes on his hand, they also talk about Jem, but before she writes about what she writes on his hand. Jesus Christ. So there's a line, I forget exactly what it is, but I think Lila says, like, if she goes off to college, she's gonna miss these planes because they won't follow her. So, when I heard that line, I was confused out of my mind. Because, to me, that was her saying, planes are dead after I leave this place. Don't planes come from everywhere? I'm confused. Willis? Like, what did she mean by that?
I'm actually trying to remember that situation because I only played it once. I haven't played it enough to where I have every detail memorized yet.
It's the beginning. It's the first opening scene, and she talks about, she has a line where she's like, "Oh, I would miss these planes if I moved somewhere else." Did you
Actually,
guess
did
that?
not know what that meant. I do remember now what we're talking about. I didn't remember what she meant by that actually.
I do.
I don't.
She's not talking about the planes as in the airplane. She's talking about the planes as the hills, the valley, the beautiful scenery.
But she was looking up at a plane when she said it, so it's
Maybe
therefore
they got one of
confusing.
maybe they got one of the best airports in the country.
I mean, hey, I'm not here to judge.
Well,
Uh,
I have been to Seattle, so it was pretty nice.
Ooh, maybe it was the plane that
did
Max
they
was
have
on
the?
at the same time. Maybe it was the same plane Max was on in Life is Strange, episode 1, or the first one in episode 5.
Oh, it's conspiracy theories, man.
An alternate
Uh,
timeline.
um. So she starts to draw stuff on his hand, and it's real cool. We talk about the booze, blankets for him and Jen, and condoms, which looks like a penis.
Yes, because nobody knows what condoms
So,
is spelled.
well, I wasn't gonna say it because yeah. So,
Condoms, prophylactics, things to keep you from getting the other half pregnant.
D booze. Uh, this I don't really feel like. I mean, this sort of shows a little bit more. Okay, this is. I was gonna say this can't be Tony already being live. Live. This is someone else. I was like, wait a minute, what? Um. So
You
I feel
forgot
like
about the weed. You forgot about the weed and the munchies.
no weed in the munchies. Yeah. Well,
Because you can't have munchies without weed.
Yeah. So I guess this
So like,
actually this becomes the first real choice. Did you guys smoke the cigarette? And what did you think about Lila smoking the cigarette? I'll go first. I did not smoke the cigarette, and I thought, isn't this girl 14? Why is Lila smoking a cigarette? Steven?
now see, I was different. I actually had cousins, and I will not give their names for legal reasons. They were actually smoking at 15, 16, so I didn't put too much emphasis on Lila. You know, she's not my daughter. You know, she's my friend, so obviously I saw something in her. I'm not going to hold that against her. She wants to do it, go for it. If she gets caught, not my problem. But I chose not to take the cigarette because I figured he's underage. He's still, in his youth, and I'm trying to keep him on the side of legal and following the rules.
Willis?
I chose not to smoke the cigarette.
Oh, we're all too nice. But go ahead, explain why.
No, it's because life
Go
is
ahead.
feels, you know.
Life is not cigarette smoke. No, seriously, go ahead. Why? Why
Oh,
didn't
for me?
you? Yeah.
For me personally, I grew up with smokers and just kind of seeing what it does to you after, over time. That's why I chose not to do it.
Okay. What did you think about Lila smoking at the age of 14?
I probably feel the same as Steven on that. Actually, is in a friend perspective, I think I'd be more obliged to correct that if I was a parent, but because I was a friend, I have the same perspective as Steven
Or
did on that.
or a brother. If you're like a brother, sometimes you'd be like, dude, what are you doing? You know.
Oh,
But
that
like,
is true, and I got younger brothers, so in that sense, I guess I'd be more apt to do that. But at the same time, from a friend's perspective, I'd feel the same exact way. Actually,
what would you?
yeah, I
Okay.
grew up with friends smoking, so in that sense, I wouldn't put an emphasis on them, more just myself for not doing it.
Well, I guess I'm the only one who had good friend choices growing up. No, I'm kidding. Uh, I established that too, or had some of that too. Uh, so the main
maybe
point of what?
maybe he didn't want to smoke because he was having thoughts of Lila and Jen go through his head.
That's true too. Uh, I'll get more into Jen in a couple more scenes.
There's more than one reference to a cigarette in your mouth.
Okay, so moving on, as I just got that, life is question marks, not confused. What did Willis say the other day? Life is mood, man.
Mood, yes.
Isn't that what you said?
Life is mood.
Life is mood. All right, so that's the end of the first scene, right?
Yes.
Okay, we go into the house. I'm gonna try and get through this as quickly as I can. Like we said, we have a 2-hour time span here, so we'll be fine.
You're gonna need a lot more practice.
Shut the hell up. That's just because you weren't prepared. So
Life is pain.
fine, Willis, you're fired. No. Once we get into,
I was a volunteer. What are you talking about? Just kidding.
once we get to like the area where they go and a certain thing happens that we'll get to, it'll move along quickly because there's less to talk about there. But like in the beginning, there's a lot to talk about, you know.
Okay, so we went from condoms to talking about a certain situation later that we'll get to. Okay, we got this.
So we go in the house and unpack our bag, and now we have the battle of the Choco Crisp.
The Choco Crisp? You mean the Choco Crisp?
It's technically okay. So you're triggering me now. Hang on. Now we're gonna have a damn fight on national live recording. So my response to all this mayhem, it's like people who pronounce pasta. It doesn't make any sense. It's
okay,
pronounced...
in this regard, it is chocolate, hence Choco Crisp.
No, they say Choco Crisp.
They do not say Choco.
They say Choco. They say Choco Latte, like Polar Express. What do you think it is? I don't
yes,
think
Willis, who's right? Is it Choco or Choco?
Hey, so guys, the thing was cutting out there.
We're debating on the discussion of the pronunciation of the Choco Crisp.
I just call it Choco.
Thank you.
Doesn't mean anything, J-Man.
Jesus, life is yelling, man. And
all of a sudden, me and J-Man are arguing over the pronunciation of Choco Crisp like they were arguing over who gets the Choco Crisp.
Life is earache. So yeah, so who did you guys give the Choco? Who did you guys give the candy? Who did you guys give the chocolate to?
Mine was easy. I had to think. For me, I didn't want to anger my dad. I didn't want my dad to feel like I was favoring my brother. I didn't want my brother thinking, oh, well, you just chose him because he's dad and he gives you everything and blah, blah, blah. So I figured, you know what? Screw you both. It's my chocolate bar, and I ate it.
Asshole. Yeah, actually, I did the same thing.
I was gonna say I have a hunch in this stream that Steven and I are gonna make a lot of the same choices, and J-Man's gonna be all like isolated on his own island.
No, actually, I ate it myself too, so we're not isolated yet.
Asshole.
Go ahead, Willis. Go ahead, Willis.
I guess that makes the Three Stooges assholes because I ate it too.
Dibs on Mo.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Can we do the 7 dwarves and just get rid of the other 4?
Well, that would make you dopey, and if you're dopey, that makes me quite happy.
I'll be the
Which
one
I
that
guess-
sleeps.
Which I guess in turn would make J-Man grumpy.
Did you just say you'll be the one that sleeps?
Yeah.
Sleepy. You mean sleepy?
Yeah.
Speak up, Willis. No need to be. Speak up, Willis. No need to be bashful.
Okay.
I'll be sleepy. I'll be sleepy.
I'm sorry, but one woman with 7 little short people, she's got to be worn out by the end of the day.
Okay, that sounded wrong. You said one woman with 7 little short people.
All right, moving on. Moving on. We all
Thank you
established
for
who we
listening to
love.
episode 13 of the Life is Feels podcast, where Steven admits he likes women with 7 short people.
Hey, it's not like I said. It's not like I said a prostitute and 7 children.
Oh man!
Christ. Welcome to the unedited Life is Feels podcast.
An exclusive, only if we get enough followers. Yes.
You can only see it here, folks.
Hit that sub button, baby. This is what you get every episode.
Hey, maybe these comments will get more. Maybe my comments will get more viewers.
I don't know how we have 29 subscribers on YouTube. It mind boggles me. When I look at our subscription count, I'm like, 29 people subscribe to this.
People who love me.
Yeah, I bet half of those people don't love you. No, I'm kidding. So
I bet you half those people
actually, I got a good nickname for you, Steven.
Okay.
Since you're Cherokee, I have a nice playful joke, because I only say this because I'm in another type of native here, so I feel some entitlement to say it. So there's someone else I met that was Cherokee, and he was very his sense of humor was similar. So I called him Cheeky Cherokee.
Interesting.
Now that we're already going off topic here from the game.
Just interesting. Hey, J-Man, to answer your question about half of them, you said half of them don't like me. I bet you the half that do like me pronounce it Choco Crisp.
I bet you the half that do like you don't, or the half that don't talk to me anyway. So I'm just gonna leave that at that.
Okay. Anybody during the Choco versus Choco, contact J-Man and tell him how you think it should be pronounced.
I bet you half our subscribers don't even want to talk to me right now, so I don't think that's
okay. I feel the open invitation to my Twitter will be open.
I'll put a poll out on Twitter and tag people. Is it pronounced Choco or Choco? So that's the end of the second scene, right? We're gonna scroll through this. You get to the room. You FaceTime Lila. I'm going the right way, right?
So far.
Oh, actually, it's pronounced Skype. You Skype Lila. He said so far. Wow, asshole. You Skype Lila, and she looks like she has way too much makeup on. You draw a picture of her. You see Jen out. You see Jen's outfit, and she looks like a fat cat. No, I'm kidding. She has cat hair. What did you guys think of Jen's cat hair, if this matters? Anyone?
Okay, first, I didn't notice there was cat hair. And 2, you missed the scene with his father in the garage before he goes to Skype.
Okay, fine, then you do this. It actually goes quicker.
I don't remember cat hair either, so you must be eating something there, sir.
Eating something. I'm eating that. It's not cat hair, but it was like, okay. So, alright, I guess we'll get back to, okay, so since Steven's an asshole, the father in the garage.
You mean since I'm the one that knows how to do it right?
So, how many times did it take you guys to find the right screwdriver?
Oh.
I'm not gonna say mine now because you're both just jerks. No, I'm kidding. Steven, you go first.
It took me 3. because I ended up finding one that said 16, which was a little short. So I figured, he needs one with a longer handle. So I found the one with a longer handle, and then he said it was somewhere
That's
around
what
the
she
car.
said.
So I found it. He said it was somewhere around the car, so I found it on the third try.
That was me too. Third try. I found the right size, but it was the wrong type that he was asking for. So then I had to
That's
find the
what she
right
said.
one. He was okay. All right, moving on.
Why does it have to be a sheet? No, I'm kidding.
I didn't mean to throw a wrench in there. I didn't mean to throw a wrench in your plan.
Sounds like we're having a wine drinking session as we're doing this.
I believe we had 4 glasses, man.
Yeah. How much sake did we have for this? The only problem is J-Man can't be drinking.
I've only had 4 shots. I got this.
I've been drinking Sprite. Everybody calm the fuck down. I got high on Sprite.
You did that just to spite us, didn't you?
He's been drinking our chasers. He's been drinking the Coca-Colas.
I was going to say, you can't really blame me. I've been doing Coke, so.
Yeah.
I've been drinking the Sprites.
So J-Man drank just to sprite us while I was doing Coke. Willis, what are you doing?
Everything.
Meth. No.
Everything. As long as nobody's we're okay.
All the above.
Hey. All the above. Wow, we've wasted a half hour of people's lives.
Did you know that Dr. Pepper was seen having an affair with Mr. Mr. Pibb?
What the fuck is this conversation? Alright, let's speed it up a little bit because we just ear raped everybody for a half hour.
Okay, who took the money and who lied to the father? I, for one, lied to the father because I didn't want my dad to be disappointed in me, so I told him that we were just getting Halloween candy, and I got $20.
Yeah, I lied to him too, and yeah, that was a mistake. Willis?
You monster!
Willis?
I took the money, I told the truth, and I got $40 for it.
What the fuck?
This goes to show you kids honesty is the best policy.
Here's why. When I chose to tell the truth, and the father gave me $40, he said to Daniel, "I appreciate the honesty." And in ways, I think he was hinting too that I think there's a conversation in there where Sean
Daniel.
I know I'm mixing up names here, but where Sean asked him about his younger days and if he did all that. So there's that little connection between the two. I think either it's before or after you tell the truth, or you tell him if you did or did not.
Okay. So we're gonna move along. Like I said, once we get out of the house, per se, that's all I'm gonna say. It starts to go along a little quicker because those scenes are less, in depth. So
another thing that we need to discuss that will lead up to the certain something is that it is Halloween time and his little brother Daniel is making his zombie costume.
Well, I was gonna get to that, but we're Skyping Lila first. Asshole. No. We're Skyping Lila. Apparently Skype's not still a thing. And we get this really weird picture of Lila, and the letter thing turns out to say "blow me," which confused me. And then we see Jen with the cat hair. No, I'm kidding. We see a picture of Jen. I think I keep calling it cat hair because it was like this weird ass purple color, and I don't know why I'm thinking of purple cats, but it was like, I don't know, it was weird. So what did you guys think of Jen? What she looked like? Really and then we'll move on.
I didn't know too much about Jen, so at this point I really didn't have an opinion. But the
Looks are
way that,
everything.
but I figured the way Lila and Sean were talking, I figured that Lila and Sean would have made a better couple than his crush on Jen because we didn't know what Jen's personality was. So I decided to hold my opinion back until I was actually able to meet Jen at this point. Willis?
That was the same instinct same thing I chose to or felt because we weren't given much about that person. So
Okay, so Lila is on the Skype sir with Skype sir with I'm done. Can I just have a do it now? On the Skype with Sean, and you hear a little bit of screaming outside, and you hear I forget exactly what the word is that makes him look up. I think it's isn't it the bully yelling, "Dude, get this off of me!" And then Daniel goes, "It's just Halloween," or something like that. And
No,
then
he's like, what are you doing? Get off me.
yeah, and then Sean looks up and uh says to Lila, I gotta go. I gotta go check something out. And Lila's like, wait, what? And Sean's outside, and uh, this big fat dude. Okay, no, that's discriminating. This dude is picking on Daniel because Daniel got some ketchup on him. Or what was it? It was fake blood.
Fake
And
blood.
same thing. It probably was ketchup.
It was
And
not ketchup. It was fake blood. My goodness.
ketchup can be used as fake blood.
No, fake blood can be used as fake blood.
he actually,
arguing over
Daniel
everything?
actually tells you what he used for the blood.
Yeah, isn't it corn syrup?
Yeah, corn syrup and food dye.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere in there was there ketchup.
Just ketchup in. I just like ketchup. Okay, leave me
All right,
alone.
moving on.
So the bully makes some weird comments. You have the choice of questioning Daniel or confronting Brett. Steven, you go first.
Okay, I did not confront Brett. Or no, I did confront Brett. The other option was
what?
the other option was questioning Daniel. But
That's what I said.
I took my brother's word for it and I confronted this bully because I was bullied in school and I didn't care for it. So by the time I got done with middle school and junior high, I started giving it back to people. So I figured the best way to defuse the situation was to stand up to the bully.
Willis?
I actually confronted Daniel.
Ooh, do tell.
And my reason, of course, we weren't there. We didn't see the incident, but I guess depending on how it went, but what I played out in my head, what might have happened with how the accident that Daniel claims is how come his hand marks were on his shirt. So that's what I was going through when I made that call.
Okay,
Wait,
I was hoping that I was gonna say they confronted Daniel because there's different options. There's it's basically ends the same way, obviously, but there's one or two things that are said differently. I actually confronted Daniel too.
Well, you monster.
Willis, we're too connected, man. Life is connections.
Question your own family.
I just question everybody at this point. But moving on.
I love you, Daniel.
Same reason.
I don't trust this bully.
So you question Daniel, or you go after.
I straight up confronted the bully.
You go question Daniel, you confront the bully. And
I confronted the bully.
Either way, you wind up in a punching fight. Uh, any of the lines you guys want to go over? Or wasn't one of the lines, it might have been here. All you guys belong in jail or something? Was that here?
Yeah, I think that was the bully right about here.
Any thoughts on that line?
Racist and bullying should never be a thing. We should all learn to get along and live together peacefully.
This has been a public service announcement from the Life is Feels podcast. Willis?
You have to repeat that because I was playing around to figure out how to switch to speakerphone here.
Oh, talking about how the bully had said, you all deserve to be in jail.
Oh, that part. That was a strong statement coming from his end. I actually do remember that part now. I don't think I had any thoughts on it because I was kind of going through the story to see if I felt any different about that later on.
Okay. Anything? No, not really else. They get in a fight. The cops show up.
Already missed a spot.
American style cops. What did I miss?
Right. The fight caused the bully to land on a rock.
Oh, yeah, the stupid
which
rock
caused his
just
body.
sitting there.
Yeah, and it caused his body to go into spasms because it broke his back.
Then the
Now the
cops
police
show
show
up,
Yes.
and the stupid cop tells you to put your hand up. This. I'm gonna try and keep this as PG-13 as I can. This stupid cop puts his hands up and tells you to get on the ground. Your dad comes running out. The dad pleads with the officer that everything's okay, that nothing's going wrong. And then there's a gunshot. Wow, they hit you in the feels right away, don't they?
They do kind of early, yeah, especially on the first episode. But for me, I thought the cop didn't have to even pull out the gun. They're kids, you know.
No. And the father wasn't even a threat, so the gun being needed wasn't even necessary.
I think though, I think the cop by accident shot him. You could tell it looked like he accidentally pulled the trigger out of just fear or reaction without realizing.
Yeah, that's what I got, because the father went to take a step forward and he had told him twice, don't move. And by taking a step forward, he turned and fired. And when he fired, you could see the fear in his eyes, like, oh God, what did I do?
Right. I think the cop could have.
I'm not condoning it.
Especially with kids. I think that if it's kids, you know, you don't have to pull the gun out on them. And I can kind of see in his perspective, the policeman's, because there's the fake blood all over, and then a fight just happened, and one fell on a rock, and it made him look like he died or something. And in the cop's eyes, he just out of reaction made the call. But at the same time, if it's kids, to me, the worst I'd probably do is a taser, but not a gun.
Right.
They weren't armed, so.
Well, I think that's the other thing. A lot of people have said, and I kind of agree with this, that the cop was being racist. And I think, let's point out that the officer is white and it's a Latin family. So, I think that there was a little bit of racism there. I don't feel like I don't think he abused his power, but I think he was a little biased against them because of the color of their skin. So I think even though he didn't want to shoot the father, he was very afraid of being in that situation to begin with. It was a predetermined judgment.
I just realized how much more of this we actually have left. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go scene by scene, and Steven's gonna take a scene, and then I'm gonna take a scene. Steven's scenes go a lot quicker.
They do, because I'm more prepared than you. It's called being prepared.
Okay, fine. Do you remember the rest of it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, The officer has shot their dad, and he's lying on the ground. And Sean, out of natural reaction, runs up to their dad, and then you just see a giant happen. And when Sean comes to, the police car is flipped upside down. The officer is nowhere to be seen. The bully is obviously dead from internal injuries, and Sean and Daniel are wondering what to do and what happened, and that they needed to get out of there because they were going to be questioned because they were in the minority. So, any thoughts on that?
I mean, no, not really. Just the thoughts of that. I fucking hate that you're better at me than something. No.
It's
No,
a talent.
not really. Shut up. Just the thought of the fact that the dad's dead so early, man. Like, okay, so comparing it to the first episode. First of all, this thing we're like not even close to done. This thing. Well, hopefully, Steven going over it will get done it quicker. Because I just rambled.
Naturally.
We spent literally almost an hour talking about the first scene.
I could have been done in a half hour.
Shut up. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, if you remember the first episode of the original Life is Strange, the more in-depth episode was the second one, with everything with Kate, right? Here, you have someone die in the third scene of the game. So it's a little different. Willis?
Yeah, definitely the intro did feel more, because I was reflecting to the first episode of the first game, and at first I thought that was a really strong intro to discovering, because the first one, Chloe gets shot, and then that's where Max discovers she has this unknown power that she didn't know she had. And I guess because there was a death involved and it went through with it, whereas Max rewinded, that was a different outcome of the intro of how people maybe felt or how strong the feelings were towards it. Me personally, if it would have been nicer if the cop didn't do what he did. The outcome would have been much different. But I guess for the sake of the story, to make it more interesting, they made it go that way. And
Yeah.
if it were me, though, as the two boys, especially because you're minors, and I believe they do say they're citizens of the U.S.
Right.
And so I think I would have just stood there and just answered questions if that was me personally.
Right. And sadly, that's the world we live in. A lot of people in this country will shoot first and ask questions later, which is stupid. I mean, it shouldn't get to that point.
Right.
But moving forward, they decide that they're going to be on the run. They're on the land. They're taking off because they feel if they go in, the police are going to suspect that they did it because of their nationality, their race, their area of origin, blah blah blah. You have the option of smashing open the park box and getting more money, or you can decide not to take the money. Now, me personally, I didn't take the money because I figured, right now it was self-defense. I mean, it looks bad what happened, but I figured if they caught up to me, I did not want to add destruction of public property and theft to that list. I figured leave it alone and things would go more smoothly if and when they ever caught up to me.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I took the money and ran.
Wow, what a jerk.
I mean...
I'm a law-abiding citizen. Something else I can do better than you.
Oh, wow. Too soon. It still hits me in the heart, though, man. You gotta chill, bud. Yeah, I took the money and ran. Straight out took the money and ran. Willis?
Now, remind me which part of the money that we're talking about. We're talking about from the jar? Which one here?
The park box. You can smash it open or ignore it.
Park box.
Is this at the gas station?
No, this is where you enter the woods.
Okay, no, I did not do that. That's probably why I'm not familiar with it. So no, I did not do that.
Okay. This is where Sean and Daniel go through the woods. They have a little hide and seek. There's the gathering of the logs. There's the building of the shelter, and Sean's trying to be the big brother that he can to look after his younger brother. I have a brother that's 7 years older than me, and I know he looked out for me quite a bit. Although at the time I didn't notice it. But he's trying to do the best he can with what he's got. Their money's limited. They're wearing just the clothes that they left with. And I, at this point, protected Daniel from knowing that their dad was dead. Unfortunately, I figured, he's 7, 8, maybe 9. And I don't think that he was ready to handle the fact that his dad had passed, or the fact that, how to tell him that he wasn't coming back, that he was emotionally ready. So up to this point, I haven't told him, but I did try being, the best brotherly bond I could have.
Yeah. In my personal opinion, we are the wolves having squad up. If you don't get what I mean, just look at Sean's jacket. In my there's a lot of different, and I was like Willis. I was trying to compare it to episode 1 of the original Life is Strange, right? Because that's all you have to base it off of. Unless you try to compare it to episode 1 of Before the Storm, wouldn't really make any sense. So comparing it to the original Life is Strange, it's kind of like how in the first episode you get the connection of Chloe and Max, but instead it's Sean and Daniel, and I think it's shown here that the brotherly bond, nothing against anyone, is bigger than the friendship bond, at least at this point. Well,
I don't think I have a comment on that. Not yet, though. No.
And
okay.
the other thing to point out is, out of Before the Storm, the original Life is Strange, Captain Spirit, and now I think is the first time we've actually seen a pair of in the game as compared to a friendship. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So they leave the woods and they find this local diner, and you can have your brother go up and beg for food, or you can just go in and buy it. Now, see, I had him beg. I was very shortchanged on money, so I was trying to get as much free stuff as possible, one way or the other. I didn't like the fact that I had. Yes.
I need to talk about this family. This family triggers the shit out of me.
Okay, let me finish this small section. This small section. I chose, I've got a very small amount of money left. And I didn't want to use Daniel to beg for food, but at the same time, I didn't want him to know what was going on. Like, he was starting to trust me. We're getting along, but I wanted him to realize that sometimes you do have to survive at all costs. I had already told him it was like camping. It was a hiking trail, but we didn't have a lot of money. So I chose to have Daniel go over and get this family's food, and they did, and I believe they end up giving you some, if I'm not mistaken, if either of you chose to go get the food. Now, you had thoughts on the family?
Yeah. Fuck off, man.
Explain.
This 12-year-old girl is the biggest bitch I've ever heard in my life. This 12-year-old girl was so freaking sassy. Like, I was so confused. Like, and I wasn't confused by the parents saying no, they weren't going to give them food at first, right? But then, like, the 12-year-old girl sounded like someone shot a bunch of sass out of her ass. You know what I mean? So like,
And the parents just sit there and let it happen.
Willis,
Great, great parenting. Parenting 101.
You know, I think because I had more money. I bought my stuff from the store. I didn't go talk to the family. But I have a little confession to make too why I chose not to. Because I kind of saw someone streaming that episode, so I kind of knew what the outcome was going to be, so I didn't even bother talking to the family.
Okay.
okay, let's
It's
keep
different.
going.
It's different that, the difference in how much money we both had, it kind of altered which decision we made as far as, taking free food. But
Steven, I gotta message you something, but keep going.
okay. So you go into the store and there's all kinds of, mac and cheese, hot dogs, bread, what have you. And as I mentioned, I didn't steal. I got half the money. I chose a loaf of bread because I figured for the pricing they wanted, I thought, a lot of that was way overly priced. But I figured
Yeah,
the
right.
loaf of bread was the highest probability of us surviving the longest because it had the most in it as far as slices. We can ration it more. And then there was the free bear keychain. They did have the claw game in there, but I didn't want to spend $1 on, possibly losing money. At this point, I think after the bread and everything, I had like $10 left, and I wasn't going to spend it on some rigged toy game. But I figured, Daniel getting the free bear keychain was good. Us getting the loaf of bread, that would tide us over for, a couple days. So I'm really skimping on money right here.
Yeah, Steven, did you my message? Yeah, I didn't have that much money either. I only had the 20, so I just went right after the bread. Willis?
Well, since I had more money, I actually, I bought the mac and cheese. I bought a loaf of bread. I bought the water bottle, even though you wouldn't think you would, but just to refill the water bottle. That was my thoughts on that. And I you guys mentioned the claw machine, right?
Yeah.
I did not do the claw machine, nor did I do the keychain. I felt like a terrible big brother, but at least I had more money.
Mm.
And I think that's what I remember doing. And then I found the map too.
Now that's
Okay.
interesting. Why did you not take the keychain if it was free?
I actually didn't know if it was free or not. I didn't know until you guys said something. I'm like, oh well, if it was free, I should have got it.
Right. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was free, Willis.
it was not a big impact on the story. The thing that it unlocks is basically you can add it to your backpack as like one of those zipper pulls. So that was
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so you you take it out. We ended up starting to eat the bread, and this
Steven, are
old
you
guy.
sure?
What?
You're sure?
Oh, yes. If you let
Yeah.
me
All right.
proceed.
Okay.
So you go out. I start eating the bread. This guy, older gentleman with a beard, scruffy looking, comes up. Um, Again, I think it's a racial thing, but he accused them of stealing instead of buying it outright. You
Well,
could have the option.
are we?
You could have the option of
We're talking.
stealing, but
We're talking about Bodie.
no, this is not Brody. This is the old guy that you don't know this yet, but once he takes you inside to prove that you paid for this stuff, you find out that the woman behind the counter is actually his wife. And
When did we
they
get
take
to
you back.
Bodie? Did we skip over Bodie?
No.
Or
So we go back.
Bodie was after this. Bodie was after
Yes.
this. Sorry.
So we go back in and you see this puppy on the counter, or not on the counter, next to the counter.
On the counter.
And it says free puppy. Daniel is so attached to this puppy. It doesn't have a name. And he tries to convince Sean to get this puppy. And Sean says that it would be an extra mouth to feed and it would cost a lot of money that they didn't have. And I didn't want to break his heart, so I told him we'd think about it. But this is where you meet Brody.
I told him yes.
So did I. Oh, you told him yes? I told him that the money was skimpy. But you got the whole money, didn't you? You told the father the truth?
You asking me?
No, no, I lied. Willis is the only one who told the father the truth. I had I had $18 left, and I said yeah. I was like,
Yeah, see,
sure.
I only had 10, and I'm like, okay, thinking ahead, long game, this could take up to a month. We don't have enough money to feed a puppy, let alone know where we're going to get any more money.
I felt bad. So
Right?
I was like, okay. So I spent $2 on the bread, and that was it. And then I was like, I feel really bad for this kid. He doesn't know what's going on. So I was like, I'll give you the free puppy, Willis.
You know, and that is true. Daniel doesn't know what's going on because what happened, and he's just on a
Mhm,
blind field trip for all he knows so far.
mhm.
So, did you tell Daniel yes, or did you say you would think about it?
On the puppy,
Yes.
Mhm.
wasn't there also a third option to that too?
No, it was let me think about it, or we can't afford it.
Oh no, I told him we can't afford it.
Wow, you had more money than both of us, and you didn't want it. J-Man's got $18, and he's like, sure, let's go for it.
I felt bad. Leave me alone.
I felt bad too, but I had to think about my brother and the finances we have. I mean, we can't use it buying all this dog food.
Yeah, yeah. My mindset didn't go there. My mindset was like, yeah. I feel bad.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm an animal lover, but I had to think of the finances at this point.
And that was me too. Despite I had more money, $40 won't really get you that far.
Well, the other thing is, I felt bad for this puppy. I'm like, it's adorable. But then I got to thinking, if it's this adorable, chances of him getting adopted are like 100%. So, anyway, we end up meeting Brody, who's on the internet over by the hot dogs.
He's an online
And
nudist. I'm sorry.
that's what everybody says. He is not. He is creepy and a weirdo when you first meet him, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But he says that I believe he's on his way to meet his parents or something. But you get ambushed by after Brody leaves. You get ambushed shortly after outside by the older gentleman. Sean is able
What the fuck
is able to put up a fight or try to run. Now I told Daniel to run because I figured if he got away, there's a chance that I can fight my way out somehow. The big brotherly, get out of here, run. Every horror movie, every attack sequence, what have you. I chose for Sean to run, Daniel to run. God, now I'm doing it. Thanks a lot, Willis. So anyway, Sean gets tied up in the janitor closet.
Wait, why are we blaming Willis?
Because I'm confusing the names now.
And I was confusing the names earlier.
Okay, anyway, we have Sean attached to the pipes. We have Sean out there, which we're talking to through a vent shaft. And we're asking him to find, this tool and that tool. There's a door with a window next to it. He's a little short. He can't reach it. But after trying all this stuff, Sean is able to be freed by Daniel. And basically I think you end up knocking the guy to the floor. He's dazed and partially conscious. And it's this point where you actually have the option of stealing the tent. I personally stole the tent because I figured, this guy's going to be a jerk. This guy is accusing me of stealing. He wanted to tie me up. This guy deserves to lose money. So I took the sweater for Daniel. I took the camping gear, and I decided, let's bowl.
Let's bowl. Yeah, I took the camping gear too. Let me hang on. Sorry. I took the camping gear because at this point, like Steven said earlier, I wasn't sure. Like, we could be here for like 9 more years. Like, you don't know how long we could be out here. So, I took the camping gear for that reason. Sorry, Willis. Go ahead.
Yeah, I took the camping gear myself. I didn't think to take the hoodie, but as far as feeling the same way Steven did after what that guy just put Sean through and Daniel through, now if I go back and play, I think I'll take the hoodie next time. But I just took the camping gear.
Hmm.
Okay. So, are we good? Are we good with this section then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this things out and things to promote, and apparently I'm typing it in wrong. So I'm like half
All
paying
right.
attention.
You work on that. I'm going to go ahead. So they
Okay,
decide they're going to take.
I'm listening, but
So
go
they
ahead.
take off while this guy chases them. They get into the back of the station wagon, which you find, and he's traveling across the nation to get to his parents'. I don't remember
Parents.
what his parents. I don't know why, but
But you just said parents.
yes, I'm aware of what I said. And parents is my new word, so shush. I don't have to listen to you,
Life,
Jay, man. You're not my parents.
life is parents.
So, so I don't remember why, but he was going to his parents over across the states. But
we forgot about the Choco Crisp in the car.
No, we didn't. That was way before the park.
I know, but I wanted to touch on Choco Crisp again.
Okay, I figured and it's chocolate. I figured it was my fault that he didn't get it in the first place, so I figured I had a chance. He's mad at me before. I'm just going to take this bar. It's an abandoned car, and anybody that comes back for it obviously has the money to get another one. So I figured, it's hot out. It's in the sun. He deserves this Choco Crisp. So I took it from him earlier. I figured I'd be the bigger brother. I'd try to make amends and say, you know what? Here's your Choco Crisp.
What's a Choco?
Choco is short for chocolate. Can we get back to the story now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Brody ends up having this big conversation. Well, as they get on the road, you find out that Daniel has taken the puppy, unknowns to them at this point. But Daniel eventually falls asleep, and Sean and Brody have this conversation about, he's not ready emotionally, he's not ready mentally, which, I didn't think the same thing either.
Wow, you have gone through this quick. Holy crap. I just realized how close we are now.
But he basically tells him.
We didn't talk about the guy, though.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wait, no, that's after. No, the guy who captures him.
We did that already, and how he was attached to the radiator, and he got knocked down, and we stole the camping gear. Yes, we did.
Oh, we didn't want to talk about any. I wanted to talk about the wall comment.
Okay, well then go ahead. It's right before. This is right before they get in the car with Brody.
Yeah. You're the reason we need to build that wall. That's a little extravagant.
That's a really strong comment when I heard that. Yeah.
Oh, that actually pissed me off. I was like, "You're an asshole."
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that, but I forgot where we were when you said camping gear because I'm like half awake. But now that I remember, yeah, I wanted to touch on that.
And this is why I go through the story.
That's a very political. Oh man, I don't know. That's a. I was about to say that's a wall you don't want to cross. That's a boundary you don't want to cross, and I think that
if they build a wall, if they build a wall, that's definitely a boundary people are going to want to cross.
Oh my.
Sorry, I know that's insensitive. I'm sorry, people, if that offends anybody. I didn't think that through.
You know what I meant, though. I think what I'm trying to say is, the only other comment that I wanted to talk about there was the comment where the guy's like, "You and your whole family belong in jail," or something like that. And but you're the reason we needed to build that wall. That's just, I thought that was way too far. Willis?
Yeah, we're talking about that comment he made, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I felt the same about the comment, and what the guy that made the comment didn't know is these guys were U.S. citizens, but at the same time, they were also in Redneckville too, pretty much. So, um, those kind of comments or thoughts towards other people that don't seem American or white Caucasian or whatever. I could see where that comes from maybe his side, but he didn't know the whole story, and I actually felt the same about that comment too, as that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, and again, sadly, it is the world we live in, where people are so in their comfort zone that they're afraid to expand and be like, hey, this person's different, but they're still human like the rest of us. They see different origins and different backgrounds that they don't want to take the time to get to know the others. They're set in their own way.
Yeah. You can go back to that
Okay.
now because you got
So
20 minutes. So let's see what you can do.
Brody is talking to Sean,
Wait,
and he says,
hang on. Does Tony go live at 9 or 9:30? It's 9:30, right?
it is 9:30.
Okay, so we got time. Okay.
Any more interruptions, Mr. J, man?
Fuck off. Keep going.
So Brody is talking to Sean that even though Daniel is a little young, it's better to tell the truth now and rip the Band-Aid off than it is going to be if he waits and continues on not knowing what happened to his dad. So at this point, you've got a really difficult decision to make. You decide to discuss things with Daniel, and you have the option of playing fetch or letting Daniel play fetch with the puppy. I figured, if this puppy's going to be part of our lives, it's good for Daniel. I need to show him that I love this puppy, even though I have the money for it. It's adorable. He names the puppy Mushroom. But I figured, this puppy's stuck with us. I better make the most of it. And like I said, I'm an animal lover, so naturally I'm going to play with the dog. Hey, give me, let's play fetch. Let's go for it. Daniel has a good time with the dog, and Brody's kind of being Brody to himself. Before I get too much further, any thoughts on Mushroom and the playfulness, or Brody and his talk about telling Daniel the truth?
Are you asking me?
Well, no, I'm gonna go first. Sorry. Only thing I want to say is that I feel like Brody, for a guy who does only nude, I'm kidding. I feel like Brody here does a really good job of saying, like, look, eventually you want to tell him before he finds out, Like, you want to tell him before he finds out, or, like, it's going to be worse when he finds out. I feel like Brody did a good job of explaining that here. Willis?
Well, real quick, did you feel that that Daniel was not emotionally ready considering his age, or did you consider that as a factor?
I mean, you'd have to tell him eventually anyway, so.
Okay, Willis?
I second that. For me, though, as far as intro, because we're only at episode 2, still coming out here in another month, roughly. I think so far, Brody's kind of everyone's favorite character, because look how he just willingly helped these two brothers, these young kids, out of nowhere and get them out of their situation. I wish I don't know if we were talking about the dog, but when Daniel named him Mushroom, I thought, what the hell kind of a name is that for a dog? And personally, I wish the game makers would have let us had a choice to make a name for it. Like in Zelda, how you can name your horse or something,
right?
Something like that. Or
I thought the same thing. I thought that would have been cooler. But
I know when I first started going through that, I'm like, all right, we're gonna name this dog, and he's like, how about Mushroom? I'm like, what the f is that?
Well, I mean, I can see where they get it. I mean, the dog is what was it, Cocker Spaniel or Beagle? It had floppy ears. It was very soft, furry, kind of squishy, like mushrooms have like the squishy top, and the puppy just being, recent it was kind of floppy. So I can understand why he would think mushroom, but at the same time, I let him name it mushroom. I mean, he's the one that wanted the dog. The dog's going to help him in life, deal with the loss a little bit better. So you know what? It's his dog. Let him have the dog.
Right, and that was the choice I made with Sean. I was like, "What kind of a name is when you say that to him as Sean?" Yeah,
I just told him it sounds like a good name, but and the other thing I wanted to touch on real quick before I continue. A lot of people have said Brody looks like Seth Rogen. I honestly thought that was based off of Seth Rogen. A lot of people say it's based off of Seth Rogen. I thought it was Seth Rogen, honestly. Anybody else?
No. Do you think we'll not finish by 9, but like 9:10?
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay. So by this point, Brody comes back and says that he's got him a hotel room, which and then gives him a bag, gives him a letter. He's left them some money for their endeavors, their trip. A letter of good luck, and they end up going into this hotel room with Mushroom. And believe it or not, there are places that actually allow animals in their hotel, but it's a little extra. But at this point, you are getting settled in, and Sean and Daniel have a rock, paper, scissors match to get the bed. And obviously you win. And then it says a deal's a bed. I chose that Daniel go ahead and keep the bed, even though I won. I figured, it's going to be hurtful when he finds out that their dad is gone. So I figured, he might as well have, as much joy as possible until he finds out, which is why I let him keep the dog, why I named him Mushroom, why he's having the bed. And ironically, an episode of Hot Dog Man was on. So I did choose to sit down and watch that. I wanted to see kind of, what the new episodes of Hot Dog Man was released. And it actually turned out pretty funny. But thoughts up to this point?
Not really. Willis?
I chose to kind of hold him accountable.
Sorry, I chose that too.
I chose that for towards Daniel, and I did not watch the TV with them. I guess because my thoughts I was being the typical big brother that you have the annoying little brother and you shove him off. But I've heard there's Hot Dog Man. Maybe I'll go back and choose that now the second time.
See, I thought it was cute because in the episode, instead of going to see the mayor of the town, they went to see the mayo.
Yeah.
But so you decide. Well, first of all, because I ended up stealing the camping gear, Daniel had stolen one of Brody's figures, which I'm like, great. I taught my little brother how to steal. At the time, I did not know that was a consequence.
Oh.
I did not pick that as a consequence.
You skipped over something.
What did I miss?
Link to Arcadia Bay.
It wasn't really a big thing. It was either I ended up.
Yeah,
I destroyed the town. The town. The town for me was.
Don't interrupt me.
You interrupted me, so get your point out.
Jesus. You know that people are gonna be like, "Oh, how'd they skip this part?" And we have to talk about it because Willis posted something about it on his Twitter. So
okay. I actually chose originally. I chose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay.
Life is what?
Mood.
I chose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay. So during the conversation with Brody, during the overlook, it said here used to lie Arcadia Bay, and it talks about how a town was washed completely out from a storm. So that was my choice. Did anybody else choose to sacrifice the town, or did anybody choose to sacrifice Chloe?
I chose to sacrifice the town.
Oh boy, I'm gonna sound like an ass.
You sacrificed Chloe, didn't you, you big monster?
Okay, hear me out. Oh man, we only got till 9:30. Alright. Let me explain really quick why I sacrificed Chloe. I sacrificed Chloe because why the fuck is this talking? Hang on. Oh, okay, here we go. I sacrificed Chloe because actually I don't know why I did. I guess I'm just an asshole.
Okay, how was your
I mean,
decision different?
okay, so if you sacrifice the bay, it says sorry for all those lost, right? And then
Right.
if you don't sacrifice the bay and you sacrifice Chloe, it's just a map of Arcadia Bay.
And Arcadia Bay is still there.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, I'll eventually replay this, but I want to replay it after the whole game's done and my choices have actually mattered. And then I kind of want to see how they differ.
Mhm.
But for time purposes, let's move forward. Where was
Yeah.
I? The hotel. So
Remember, we have to really quick talk about
10
our
minutes, we'll be able
predictions.
to do this. So he decides Nathaniel needs a bath. Nathaniel, I don't know where that came from. Daniel, shut up. I don't know where that came from. I was watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and Nathaniel's one of the guys. But
Nathaniel. I'm sorry.
shut up. He decides, he stinks. He needs a bath. So you go in, you get the bath ready. Bubbles are an option. I gave him bubbles. What kid doesn't love a bubble bath? But he takes the dog in with him, and Sean points out, no, the dog is not taking a bath with you, which I thought was funny because I knew it was coming. And did anybody else give bubbles, or did they skip the bubbles? Just real quick.
I did the bubbles.
I did the bubbles.
Okay. So while he's getting in the bath, Sean goes out onto the porch and figures, it's been a while since he's talked to Lila. And Lila is basically like, what the heck? You didn't come to the party. Is everything okay? I heard about your dad. Where are you? The police are looking for you. You need to come home.
Well, okay, let's really quick. Did anyone actually do the phone call with Lila?
I did. I figured if I'm going to throw my phone away, she needs to hear my voice and know, we're okay. We're doing fine. So don't worry about that. But, we are doing fine. So you don't have to worry about that. That's a load off your mind.
That's a really emotional ass phone call. It really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
What really got me emotional was watching the videos, the old videos of you and Daniel and their father all opening Christmas presents, because by this point you've gotten to know they really hit home that, your father's gone, you're not getting him back. But Daniel not knowing, their father's gone, and you watching these old Christmas videos and knowing by throwing your phone away you won't have these videos anymore. That to me was heart-wrenching. I would have backed him up or something before throwing a phone away.
Yeah. Let's roll through
Willis,
this
your
really
thoughts?
quick.
Willis?
I'm feeling like I'm J-Man the asshole, and you're here now.
Why?
I chose
You didn't
to
call
throw the
Lila?
phone because I chose to throw the phone because I felt that in the situation as complicated as it got so quickly, the attachment would
Did
bring
you just call me an
confusion from
asshole?
their goal.
Hold up.
We're running out of
Did you
time.
just call me Did you just call me? We have a half hour. Did you just call me an asshole?
Sometimes the truth will hurt.
Okay, so
That's
Willis,
the truth.
just to clarify, because it was kind of shoddy, you chose to not call Lila?
Correct.
Wow,
you missed out.
Did you feel bad about the videos with you and Daniel and your dad opening presents on Christmas morning?
I did.
How long did you all watch? I think I gave it the whole first Christmas present. I gave it. I think
watched the whole thing.
Wait, there's a whole thing?
Yeah, it ends. It ends eventually.
Wow. Okay, after the second one, after the second story, I was like, I can't watch this anymore. Nope. I figured in real life, watching the videos as long as he did, he would throw the phone without a second thought because he wouldn't be able to deal with it. So I stopped after the second. How many memories there actually are?
There's
Willis,
like
how far
5.
did you get? Oh, Willis, how far did you get?
I think in my defense, I'll go back and play again. Here's why. If you recall, when I played it, I was finishing up, and I kept getting text messages from my game man saying, "Hey, what's your status?" I'm like, "Oh crap! I feel pressured to get it done quick," so I kind of was just rushing through the
Wow,
ending part.
thanks.
Way to go, J-Man.
Wow,
So
thanks.
now that I'm hearing the other side of the story from the different choices, I'm like, I want to go back and like redo my choices on some of them because
But
Wow,
how
thanks.
how
Wow,
many
I feel honored.
how many how many memories did you watch though?
I didn't even watch the first one. I chose to throw the phone away as soon as possible.
Oh, so they didn't even let you watch. Wow. Okay, so
Well, thanks, Willis.
by this point, you throw your phone into the ocean. You come back. Daniel's just coming out of the bath. He's dressed. He's ready for bed. And you tell him that you have something to talk about. And he asks for a soda. So you go to get a soda, and then you hear screaming from the hall. And rushing back to Daniel, you see that he has found the father has died, and he learned it from the TV. And upon him, you find out that it was Daniel that had all these powers, and everything is swirling around in the air. Mushroom, the telephones, the pillows, just even the lamp is up in the air and swirling around. So at this point, I was like, wait a minute, it's Daniel that has the powers? See, I knew somebody had powers, but I didn't know which of the two
Wait,
brothers
you
had the
didn't know
power.
it was going to be Daniel? Hold
No, I
up.
just knew. No, I knew one of the brothers had the power, but I didn't know specifically which one because it never actually states it.
I knew it was Daniel right away.
Well, good for you. Willis, did you know or did you not know
Did I know what?
that it was Daniel, or were you curious as to which brother had the power?
I knew it was Daniel because I kind of spoiled it for myself by watching someone stream on it.
Okay, when you first saw the stream, did you know it was Daniel before you found out it was Daniel, or did you have suspicions about Sean?
I can't say as far as if I knew because when I watched that stream, I didn't watch it consistently all the way through. I was at work, so I watched it whenever I had a break.
Oh, and you didn't speculate that Sean could have had
And
powers?
the scene that we talked about before with the policeman, where we first discovered there's some kind of supernatural power going on there, I did
Right.
not watch that part. I just watched the part where the scene that we're just talking about now. That's where how to answer this question. That's how I knew Daniel had the power the whole time.
Okay, so basically it's a 50-50 split.
Correct.
Okay. So at this point, he basically, is pushing you away, which you kind of expect at this point, finding out, that you didn't really say much about the dad's passing away. He gets to the point where he's like, "You're not my brother. Get away from me. Get off of me. You knew," and all this. And you end up hugging him, and he does forgive you, but he says, "Never lie to me again." Now, see, I promise. Well, I know I should have said I'll do my best, but at that point, I said I promise because for the game, I have every intention of being honest with my brother because, in all reality, all you have left is your brother besides Mushroom, but Mushroom can't really talk. So I figured,
Why?
your brother's all you got left at this point. You've got no phone, you've got no friends back home to talk to. It's just you and your brother. So I figured, if I don't lie to him for the rest of the game, I think we should be good. Who
Thoughts on
else?
that, Willis?
I think I said I'd do my best because for me personally, in real life, um, not all things we intend will come to fruition or happen. So for me, I just said no guarantees. That was my approach on that. So I said I'll do my best.
Yeah, I wanted to hit that, but like I said, for game purposes, he's all I got left. So I figured, for the rest of the game, he can hear everything.
Right.
J-Man, what'd you choose?
Same.
To who?
to both. You both said the same thing.
No, I said that
We said two different things.
I said I wanted to
Oh,
tell him. I said that I wanted to tell him it depends, but I ended up going with I'll tell you the truth.
I went. Well, you're a nerd.
Wow.
I went with it depends. Just because you don't know what else the game is gonna give you.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's life is strange. You don't know.
So
So
over the
speaking
course
on that note,
so
uh,
over the course of these three different playthroughs, you listeners have heard mostly three different opinions and thoughts in three different areas. So it's kind of cool to
so
see a different perspective.
so we have to. We got about a half hour. It won't take us that long. It'll probably take us
Okay,
about five,
we
10 minutes to do
we
this.
got one scene left.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the The bus
nothing
ride.
really happens. But
No,
yeah,
the bus ride shows them basically driving off, continuing their journey. And if I'm not mistaken, Daniel's got Sean's is resting his head on Sean's shoulder.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, and then they just drive around the mountain, headed towards where they're going. In
And
the after
then
credits, in the after
wait,
credit
no,
scene,
we're not gonna get. We're not. No,
in
no.
the after
We're gonna
credit
talk.
scene, it is something.
No,
Hold on, I'm not going to give it
we're not
away.
gonna.
In the after credit
No, we're
scene,
not gonna talk about that
there's an after
because
credit
we're about.
scene that will explain more episodes in the future. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, you can't cut me off like that. What I was gonna say is we'll talk about the after aesthetic clean once we get to episode 2, which we're about to do now. Um,
Well, people
what
don't know
I'm
there's an after
also
credit
going,
scene.
what I'm also going to say is that I was confused by the "tell me a story to help me fall asleep," and then she goes, "There's these two guys, who's their dad, and they gotta be by their own," and I was like, "Wow, this is a really terrible story."
Right?
I was like,
for,
how's this gonna make a kid tired?
See, for me, I was like, oh, this is so original.
Yeah, right.
Because I was playing Detroit before this game, and Kara has to tell Alice a story, and it talks about a little girl and how she was with a guardian, and then they met somebody else, which was in Detroit. And Sean's telling Daniel the story about two boys, and I'm like, another game with a typical story.
All right, it is time for Life is Feels podcast. Predict. That was wrong. It is time for Life is Feels podcast prediction for episode 2. We got 28 minutes, so it won't take us that long. What do you guys want in episode 2, and what
Okay,
do you think we will get in episode 2? I'm gonna let Willis go first.
I just had one
Actually, you know
question
what?
on this.
I'm gonna let Steven go first because he's gonna talk the longest.
Wow. I have one question. Do you want me to give away the after credit scene or let people watch it on their own?
We'll let people watch it on their own. Like if you
Okay.
wanna entitle things that happen in that scene and something you want to see in episode 2, you can.
No. But
Okay, Steven, go
my
first.
my prediction for episode 2 is the brothers are going to grow stronger together. I don't know what dangers they'll face, but I think it will be dangers like bears and wolves that were said to be in this area. I think at some point that they'll come into attacking one of them. I think that Daniel will be getting accustomed to his powers, kind of like a Jedi training thing. I like basically it's just a struggle with nature, and I think the brothers are going to have to rely on each other to get through this.
Willis?
The truth is, I did not put too much thought to as far as prediction. My guess, I guess, my guess were to, well, I guess I would have now on the fly is they would move further down south and figure out the nature of his power. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think they figure out the nation, the what, sure? Sorry, the nature of his power, and I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think Lila shows up in episode 2.
Ooh, I don't think that'll happen, but I would love to see that. Because she doesn't exactly know where they're at.
I think she randomly shows up.
That'd be
I
interesting.
think. What do you think, Willis? Do you think she randomly shows up?
No.
Wow.
Hey, J-Man, I'll throw you a curveball. What if Lila doesn't show up, but Jen actually shows up?
Life is
Okay,
real right there.
Now we're just talking crazy. What if they both show up and they fight over him?
No, seriously. What if Jen shows up and says, "I want to see the man that I was supposed to meet"?
Or they both show up and they fight over him.
Hold on, we'll get to your theory. What about my theory?
Tony in 25 minutes. No, I don't know. It's possible they could do that. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think they will, though.
Yeah, with the developers of this game, nothing is impossible.
Rachel Amber.
That was
episode 2. I'm calling
it. Episode 2. Rachel shows up. What?
The resurrection of Rachel. That's the titlement.
No, I think actually.
I think the fans would be like stoked if that bizarrely did happen. The resurrection of Rachel. Then Max comes in after, and then just this weird, bizarre, like, who the heck are you? You know, the time alter reality power. Then someone with a bizarre repulsion power thing or something.
Well,
Rachel and Max wind out to be sisters this whole time.
I think this is a top a Marvel movie if that happened.
Now, see, my theory is I don't think Max and Chloe will be with Rachel, but I think if anything, they'll probably meet Rachel, like actually in Los Angeles, California, where she planned on going for her career. It would be interesting to see Rachel actually pop up in California and that she had faked her death so she could escape Arcadia Bay without anybody feeling bad.
Yeah.
Willis, could you see that happening?
I actually can.
I faked my death.
Scared now.
What? They're heading south anyway. They could meet her in California.
Yeah, that's true. But because of the trailer, I don't think California is where they are in episode 2. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Life is mood.
Yep.
Hey, here's a question. What if you find out that Rachel and Chloe are half sisters?
That's just weird.
Why? Because they kissed in episode 2?
They kissed and they dated each other.
I know. Which is why making it where they would be half sisters would be like soap opera drama.
But that's a
tune in next time on
wall. That's a wall you don't want to cross.
Tune in next time on the next episode of this soap opera.
Jesus Christ. On that note, thank you so much for listening to episode 13 of the Life of Skills podcast. Willis. Actually, no, wrong order. Steven, put yourself over.
Put myself over? What?
Where can people?
Oh, gotcha. You can reach me at Twitter on Twitter at Steven.
That was so direct. I was confused. What?
That's what I was thinking. You can reach out to me on Twitter at
Willis. Where can you put yourself over? Wait, no. Jesus Christ. Willis, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, WPateIV, or Twitter, at WPateIV, or Facebook, just Willis Pate the Fourth, or just put IV at the end.
You can all find us on Tony Stream 20 minutes.
That is Tony Bandana on Twitch.
Shout out to Tony Bandana.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
You
anyone
know,
who
in
listens to
Tony's
this
and
already
Tony's
knows who he is.
stream, I'm considered the clip bit god, so I'm looking forward to tonight's session.
Yeah, it's Red Dead tonight, I think.
Yeah, he's he's really getting into that role playing stuff, which is actually really fun to interact with him in that way in his streams.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
Discord
Especially
he
when he
said
does the
9:30.
Jefferson ones; those are the hilarious ones to do.
Yeah, we did an
Yeah,
interview. You know that his body was molded to make Mr. Jefferson? Willis?
that's what he told us.
Yeah,
Really?
he didn't do the voice of Mr. Jefferson, but he sent in all these bodies and heads to make what Mr. Jefferson looks like.
I feel like that's a troll. I don't know if that's real.
I don't
I
think
think he
that's
was
a troll
joking.
because I've actually compared them, and it does look very similar.
Yeah, they do look similar. It's possible.
You know
But
what's funny
anyway,
though? Well, of course, I didn't talk to Tony about that when I met him in person, but that would be really cool to find out though someday.
Or you could
yeah,
just listen
we
to.
got. You got to tell him you're on the podcast. We got to tell him tonight. You got to
Yeah.
announce it.
I think J-Man, you told Day that I'm on the podcast crew now, and she acknowledged cool or something.
Yeah, but
Nice.
I don't know if Tony was. I don't think Tony was there. So
No, I
we didn't
think he was doing his own thing at that time.
Yeah, we're
Willis,
gonna tell Tony tonight.
if you look up on YouTube, Life is Feels podcast special interview 1, it is with Tony Bandana.
Right, I remember I listened to the interview, but I don't remember if I heard that part in the interview.
Yeah, it was in
Well,
there.
you can subscribe to us on YouTube.
I already
Life is
did.
Feels podcast. Not you.
Again,
Steven,
that
where can
is
people.
that is YouTube at Life is Feels podcast.
Steven, where can people email us?
Life is Feels podcast at gmail.com.
You can find me on Twitter at Life is Feels podcast at JMan Powerhouse. You can. Steven, you wanna. Actually, I'll do it because you'll mess it up. You can go to a shop at threadless.com/lifeisfeels. I have Steven in here next, so we're not going to promote that. You can you can check out we already promoted you though. You can check out our music partner Riley Hawk. Go to Twitter at Hawk Music, all Hawk with an E. Remember Hawk with an E. YouTube, search Riley Hawk for Riley Hawk Music. SoundCloud, search Riley Hawk. HawkMusic.com. Oh man, what a great outro. HawkMusic.com with an E. YouTube, her friends have a YouTube channel called Team Turtle Ducks. You can check that out. Strange 2 episode 1. Team Turtle twitch.tv/Team Turtle Ducks. You can check out Steven Fantasy, who has his own website, makes a bunch of logos and stuff, and made our logo. On Twitter at Steve_Fantasy, or his website, SteveFantasyDesign.com. You can check out Kayla, friend on Twitter at KLM000. That's not right. 0008. You can follow her on Twitch at KLM08. And we're gonna promote a couple people that I watch at least. You can follow my friend Baby Cobra on Twitter at twitch.tv/Baby Cobra. Cobra spelled COBRAA. You can follow my friend Orvin on twitch.tv/ORRIN. You can follow my friend Chrysalisis at twitch.tv/KRISLICOUS. Good God, I can no longer speak. So on that note, for J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13.
And Willis.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 13 of the Life is Feels podcast entitled Life is Strange 2 episode 1 review and episode 2 predictions. We'll see you next time. And remember, folks, life is feels. Thank you so much for listening.